Jimmy Butler has no intentions of signing a contract extension with the Timberwolves because he is all fed up with the nonchalant attitude of his younger teammates, specifically Karl-Anthony Towns. The Sun-Times is also reporting that Butler and Kyrie Irving have interest in joining forces in the Eastern Conference. Both players can become free agents next summer. Stephen A., start with you here. What are you hearing about this?
Well, I haven't heard much about it, number one. Number two, I don't really believe it. Here's why.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say that Jimmy Butler doesn't have problems, because Jimmy Butler is a rough rider. He doesn't take any nonsense. He doesn't have a soft bone in his body. He's not backing up from anything or anyone. And he is the kind of person that he will get in your face and challenge you. And he doesn't give a damn if you're the young star of the team. He's going to challenge you. So I don't have any doubt that there have been some issues there with Karl-Anthony Towns, especially how Karl-Anthony Towns performed in the playoffs against the Houston Rockets. Here's the problem. Both of them can be free agents in 2019. So you don't really have to worry about that at this particular moment in time. Unless you're looking to force yourself out of Minnesota right now, it really doesn't matter, because you're going to be a free agent next summer. And so to sit up there and talk about how you're fed up with Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm not going to go that far. I covered the Minnesota-Houston series. Obviously, Jimmy Butler had a great relationship with Jamal Crawford, who's one of the nicest people in the world. Karl-Anthony Towns wasn't playing up to his capability. I have no doubt that frustrated them. But in the end, with both of them scheduled to potentially be in the free agent market in the summer of 2019, there's no reason to have that kind of attitude if you're about to play with one another next season. If Jimmy Butler was demanding a trade, I'd be more concerned about it. But with him looking forward to free agency in 2019, the bottom line is they're going to be playing together this season. I'm not saying that the story is false, but I got to hear from Jimmy Butler to believe it, because he's the kind of person that ain't going to shy away from expressing himself. It ain't going to be some leaked story about, oh, my goodness, we're hearing this about Jimmy Butler. He's the kind of dude, Molly, that'll come on camera and tell you, look, this guy getting on my damn nerves. I'm sick of it. He's that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, if you're the Timberwolves and Jimmy Butler did feel that way, then you would certainly want him around Karl-Anthony Towns, because Jimmy Butler took a very different path to the NBA than Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns was the #1 overall pick in the draft and has backed that up, and was excellent in college and has been excellent every day of his life in the NBA, although people wanted more from him in the playoffs, of course, at times.
Not against Houston.
Jimmy Butler came out of nowhere. Jimmy Butler built himself into an NBA player through hard work. Jimmy Butler was at first, and then when he was in the NBA, it was as a defensive stopper. It's hard to remember a guy with a reputation as a guy who you can bring in to try to shut a guy down because he works so hard, almost like a D-leaguer who's kind of made good, who then transformed himself into nearly a franchise player both ends of the floor in a league that is starved for two-way wings, because those are the best kind of players to have. Yes, better than point guards who can shoot the three or bigs who can space the floor. You want great two-way wings who can shoot it, drive, play defense, switch, etc. And that's Jimmy Butler. You know what I take away from it, though, Stephen A., when I hear he may want to wind up in the Eastern Conference? I think Kyrie Irving, and what you hear about the Knicks, I think the Knicks, maybe Jim Dolan, selling the team. Knicks fans are very excited by those rumors, as they should be. It's the best news.
You know Dolan denied that. You know Dolan denied that, right?
I understand, right. But those are the rumors for decades and decades. Are the best news that any Knicks fan has had. Believe me, I know. I think Jimmy Butler, the issue with him to me, Stephen A., is I know he's good enough to be the third best player on a championship team, maybe the second, not the best. But on a team with Kyrie Irving and Kristaps Porzingis, he would only have to be the third best player on that team. So as the Knicks fan in me, who looks for any little sliver of news, whether it's founded or unfounded, whether it's grounded in fact or not, wait, it's possible that the Knicks could wind up with Jimmy Butler and Kyrie Irving, gets very excited.
Well, listen, I think the other thing to pay attention to here is that Jimmy Butler is the kind of guy that would embrace the challenge of going to a moribund franchise like the New York Knicks. Steve Mills, the president of basketball operations for the New York Knicks, was on my radio show with me in person last week. He proclaimed they're going to have enough money for max dollars. The key there is whether or not Porzingis is going to be healthy, because if he doesn't show up next season, late next season, after his nasty knee injury, and show that he's ready to go, then you don't have anything for Knicks fans, for a free agent rather, to look forward to playing in a Knicks uniform with. And you're not going to be able to attract a free agent for 2019. Not to mention, I don't know if they'll have enough money to get both a Kyrie and a Jimmy Butler. If the Knicks had enough money or could create enough money to attract both of them to New York City, I definitely think that's plausible, because those two guys are the type of dudes that would show up and embrace the challenge of being the face of the New York Knicks. They would do so without hesitation. But I don't know if that's going to happen. As it pertains to Minnesota, what I would say to you, Max and Molly, is this. Tom Thibodeau, you better watch himself. Tom Thibodeau is a great defensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
It's nice that they re-signed Derrick Rose, a former Chicago Bull, under Thibodeau, that Jimmy Butler is there. But how many people are clamoring to play for the Rough Rider coach that is Tibbs? That he's a great basketball mind, make no mistake about it. But he's a workhorse, completely and totally committed to everything basketball. And with today's generation of players, he's not the most attractive coach to play for. So losing a player the quality of Jimmy Butler could compromise Minnesota's plans. So I think we should all keep our eyes on that.
Yeah.
Stephen A., especially Butler, because he's seen as Thibodeau's guy.
Yes, right. Correct.
Especially Jimmy Butler. That would be devastating to Thibodeau and to the Minnesota franchise.
Listen, but as far as Butler, that's why they call it for next summer a free agent. Go where you want, live your best life.